What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas. My buddy and I, Keoke, are at this awesome coffee shop in Seattle Chinatown International District. What's the name of this shop, bro?
Phin's Coffee Shop, Vietnamese coffee shop.
There it is right there.
Craft coffee and specifically to Southeast Asia.
That's right. And what are we drinking?
Coffee. It's mixed with like a condensed milk, and it's hand pressed, so very much like a French press. If you're familiar with coffee pressing, it's all done by hand. So if you order coffee here, since it's handcrafted, just expect that the wait time is just a little bit to get your coffee, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend this. This is their main item, number one on the menu.
And if you do come here because of this video, make sure you ask for Val, the owner, and let them know that you saw this on the blog.
That's right. Awesome.
My name is Keoke Silvano, and I met Dennis when we were both undergrads at the University of Washington. We're what we call here in this area a two-time Husky, so we both got our undergraduate degree and master's degree from the University of Washington. I've been in education for the last 16 years and worked at the University of Washington in the Educational Opportunity Program as an academic advisor. And I went on to start my educational consulting company, which is called Strive Together. If you are interested in that, that's called Strive Together with the number 2, strive2together.com.
And I'll post a link as well below in the description. So.
Okay, perfect. And also have been doing photography, videography for the last 16 years, and I own my own media company, and that's called Keoke Silvano Media LLC. If you have any questions, make sure that you put those questions in the comments below. That way we can answer and address any of those questions. We might end up doing another video for those questions that we feel are important enough that we need to do another video or answer that question directly live. We would appreciate any of your comments below to see if was this informative? Is this something that you want to hear more about? If you want to hear more about specific neighborhoods, whether if it's South Park or Georgetown or other areas that you're researching for your living space, let us know what neighborhoods you're interested in, so that way we can also answer those questions for you.
We are going to talk about where in Seattle you should live or maybe consider. A lot of you viewers out there, you ask this on my channel, you ask, where should I live? Where should I move to? Can you describe these neighborhoods for me? Blah, blah, blah. And we're gonna do that today. This is a interview style video. Usually I don't do this on this channel, but I wanna do this to provide value to you all. So hopefully you'll find this to be valuable. If you do find it to be valuable, smash the like button and then subscribe if you have not already. It helps this channel to grow. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm gonna start out by asking Keoke here, of these 3 neighborhoods that I will mention, which one would you pick out of these 3 neighborhoods and why? And the 3 neighborhoods are Ballard, Belltown, and Capitol Hill. So Keoke, which neighborhood would you pick and why?
Before I get into answering the question, let me establish why Dennis is asking me these questions. So I was born and raised in Seattle, grew up here, and lived in multiple neighborhoods in the time that I've grown from high school, elementary school to college, and now having my own family. And so I know these neighborhoods from the time that I was born to what it is now. And out of all these neighborhoods, I would say that Capitol Hill would be my first choice, and mainly because of nostalgic reasons. That was just a neighborhood that we really went to hang out. We're always driving through Capitol Hill neighborhood. I lived for some time in the Central District, which is not necessarily considered Capitol Hill, but they're very, very connected. Now, the reason why I would choose Capitol Hill over the other 2 is because you have both, in terms of living, you have options to buy a house or rent a house. You have options for density to living if you want to live in an apartment or in a condominium. So you have different housing options for you and your family, and also for me, it's about the secondary and tertiary things that are available to you, such as access points to both freeways, the I-5 corridor, which goes north to south, and then you have the I-90 corridor, which goes east to west, and also if there is traffic, if you know the roads, you can bypass a lot of the traffic if you know the different neighborhoods and ways to bypass that traffic. Also, there are a lot of grocery stores that are there in that neighborhood, like organic and like the PCC, or you can go to Safeway or Red Apple. Those are different options that are available to you in those neighborhoods. And then, of course, the schools there in those neighborhoods.
So Keoke here is a Capitol Hill guy. He would pick Capitol Hill, and the reasons that you provide, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's, centrally located, accessible to all of the things that you mentioned. But let me ask you this. If one were to have a job in downtown Seattle, how does that play into the mix? And I say this because Belltown is actually in downtown Seattle. It's the closest to Amazon and, the downtown Seattle stuff. What are your thoughts about what I just asked?
Well, it really depends on the kind of lifestyle that you live. If you have children, then Capitol Hill and Ballard would make the most sense, because there are homes there that you can go to. There are schools that are there. You have more space for your children. If you don't have children, then you have a lot more mobility, right? As a single person or as a couple, then Belltown would probably be a good choice, or even the other two neighborhoods. Like Belltown, the reason I couldn't live in Belltown is that it's density living, a lot of condominiums, a lot of apartments. You're right in the heart of downtown, so you can easily walk out of your apartment building or condominium, and
younger, huh?
That's right. That is the bars.
Old farts like us.
Or even at my age, Belltown would be a great place for me to go. So that way, because I don't really like to drive that much anymore, and I just dislike traffic. So I could easily leave my space and go to a like Pike Place Market. But the problem is with living downtown is just that accessibility to grocery stores is a lot more limited. You have Pike Place Market, you have Amazon Fresh is down there and a couple other places, but it's all walking. So if you don't mind walking 4 blocks, 5 blocks to get your food, then that may not necessarily be a problem for you. But somebody who has a family and they want to be able to go and get their groceries right away, probably Capitol Hill or Ballard would be a better choice for you.
I agree with that. Speak about crime a little bit. What are your thoughts about crime as it relates to Belltown, Capitol Hill, and of course Ballard too? Hear a lot about crime. A lot of people worry about crime because of what they see on the news, the media. When people want to find out about Seattle, crime is just a thing that people are concerned about. So speak a little bit about crime.
When you're living in an urban area like Seattle or a metropolitan area like Seattle, and it doesn't matter if it's San Francisco, it doesn't matter if it's LA, Atlanta, New York, crime will exist in all those neighborhoods. And when I say crime, it's not necessarily a reflection of some of what you would, I guess, fear about in terms of gun shootings and that kind of thing, but there is car break-ins. There will be if you keep your bike in the garage locked up with a U-lock, they can cut in a bike thief, a really good bike thief can cut into your U-lock and steal your bike in less than a minute with either a bolt cutter or a grinder. So it's just knowing what to expect once you live in these neighborhoods and minimizing those risks. For example, I keep my bike in my house and my car. Every time I park it, I remove everything from the car from sight. Never keep any bags, even if the bag is empty or folded up. I still take it out of the car to minimize any of those risks. But I always do come out of my space, my living space, expecting that something may happen or occur because of knowing the areas and the things that are occurring in those neighborhoods.
And using a lot of common sense, right?
Yeah, but that's I guess experience and living in high density areas and knowing how to I guess cater to my environment because of that.
All right, now we are going to talk about different areas of Seattle, because Keoke has lived in so many different areas of Seattle, and most, if not all of those areas are below what we call the cut. And I'm going to ask Keoke to expand on what the cut is, and then we're also going to touch a little bit about what life is like below the cut and above the cut.
For a little bit of context, the cut is Montlake Cut. And the Montlake Cut, it's a man-made canal that connects Lake Washington to Puget Sound. And Puget Sound is our ocean waterway, right? And through that cut has been a dividing line historically between the rich and the poor. So north of the cut traditionally has been pretty much neighborhoods that were reserved for the elites. And when I say elites, I mean the people who have a higher education, who have higher incomes, and that kind of lifestyle, right? And then south of the cut were neighborhoods that have been historically, traditionally impoverished. Now that all of that has changed because of gentrification, but nonetheless, like for those who have historical memory of those spaces because they've lived in those spaces, like the Central District, the Valley, Rainier Valley, South End, meaning Columbia City, Hillman City, Rainier Beach, all those areas have been really like new immigrants as well as low-income families that and single home families that lived in those areas. All that has changed as property and taxes and lifestyle increase over the years.
Tell us why one might consider living north of the cut and south of the cut. I know that you've lived south of the cut most of your life. Speak a little bit about that. What are some amenities, what are some features south of the cut that someone such as yourself might find attractive or enticing?
A lot of the reasons of why I would choose to live south of the cut is because, for example, Columbia City here in Seattle, at one point in time, it was known as the most diverse area in the nation.
In the nation.
And not just Seattle, but in the nation. Diverse in its language, diverse in its economic class, diverse in culture, diversity in the intellectual knowledge that one has. So there is just many reasons why I have a close kinship with Columbia City, because just of that diversity that it offered. Now, as I said before, it is changing, but the restaurants that are in that area is definitely still a reflection of that diversity. So you can find access points to different ethnic foods. Let's say if you want Somali food, you can find that, or Kenyan food, or Nigerian food, as well as, let's say, Mexican food, Brazilian food. I mean, all those, that neighborhood houses
You're making me hungry.
houses a lot of those different foods, and also it does bring value to your education system. So if you have children and you want them exposed to a broader range of diversity and ideas, the cultural backdrop that is in those areas really helps your child develop a social support system that is very broad, very diverse, and which then also helps their lens and their point of view when they get older and go on to college and working with different communities, whether if it's low income or upper income or different ethnicities that is different from theirs.
All right, Keoke. Just one more question that is actually two questions in one. We're going to catch two birds with one net with this question. Realize I didn't say kill two birds with one stone. That was corny.
Whatever he said.
All right, Keoke. Speak a little bit about education and transportation. And by transportation, I mean public transportation.
Overall, Seattle's public school education is, in terms of national numbers, are at the top of the list, and there are great public education placements for your kids in different neighborhoods. If you have children and you're thinking about having children, where would be the most likelihood place that you would want to live? Now, I mentioned that if you do have kids, Capitol Hill, Ballard would probably make the most sense. But outside of those areas, you have in the South End some great schools. So like Aki Kurosi is known for its curriculum, for its support programs for its students, and you have, and that's just one middle school. You have Asa Mercer. I could list off a host of different middle schools, as well as high schools like Garfield, Franklin, in the corridor in the South. And Dennis is a Franklin Quaker, so he speaks highly of that. But also, like, you have magnet schools like Cleveland High School, which is a STEM program and STEM focused. But then you also have private schools, if that is your route. Anything from like an independent school, like let's say University Prep, which is up north, or and then definitely they make sure that if you live in the South End, that they have transportation available to pick up your child, to bring them to school, and then to drop them off. So they do have transportation available for the parents. If you live in, if you're Catholic, there's like St. Therese and so many different Catholic schools that feed into your two biggest high schools, like O'Day, which is for the boys, and my cousin just graduated from O'Day, and now he's playing for Duke University, and he's the number 2 center in the nation.
Dang,
Paulo. Look him up. Yep, that's shout out to my cousin, and then and holy names for the women. So. It really depends on what you want, what you're looking for, what your finances are, and what you can or can't afford. But in terms of education, now, in any of those areas, we have historically, once again, we had a busing system that enforced students from having to, like, who lived in the South End, to have to go to the North End for school, as well as from the North End to the South End, and that was like their part of their integration of schools and increasing diversity in the different schools. However, since then, that policy is no longer enforced, or it's no longer a thing with Seattle Public Schools. The Metro bus system has been very robust, and actually for a number of years, it has been number 1 in the nation for its Metro system. So we have the Link Light Rail that connects the North End to the South End of Seattle, but then beyond, like to Federal Way, to all the way up to Montlake, all the way up in the north, and they're even extending that, and then also east to west. They just finished building the east to west Link Light Rail. So then our bus system is very central to downtown, and that's how myself and other students and my friends, we grew up on that bus system and going all around Seattle, and that is very, very common still for a lot of us. I live downtown, and I have access to all the different buses, and I can literally just not have to drive if I don't want to. And most of the time, I choose to either walk or take the bus system rather than driving, because there's no need for that if you live downtown Seattle.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. And Keoke, thank you so much for spending some time with me today to create this video. Hopefully this will be valuable to viewers out there. Anyway, this is filmed on...
Hold, smash that subscribe button with your index finger, okay? Subscribe.
If you enjoy this video and found it to be valuable, please smash or
Hulk smash with your index finger.
And also, if you find this valuable and you think others might be able to benefit from this video, share it with them. There's a lot of people out there that are curious about Seattle, that want to know about Seattle, where to live, and so on and so forth. All right, you guys, thanks again for watching this video. And this is filmed on Christmas morning, by the way. We're expecting snow today, or maybe later this evening. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a white Christmas. I know that I actually wouldn't mind it. I think it's nice to have snow around here, because it doesn't stick around for too long, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. All right, Keoke, thanks again, bro, for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.